All right. I think we're live now. Sweet. Yeah, I can hear myself. So that's good. Um, this is a little bit of a different format. As you can see, I'm wearing a beanie now because I need a haircut and I don't like how my hair looks at this camera angle. So I was actually really lazy. I left the camera in the middle of my TV from last time when I had to aim down at my desk here. And I didn't feel like putting it back on its sticks in the corner of my TV, so I just left it there. I don't know how I like this camera angle. It's to be determined. I'm also kind of using a little bit of a different lighting here. As you can see, there's just mainly the TV that I have lighting my face and a desk lamp right there. Not bad. Um, I was gonna have another light on the other corner on to kind of get like a 3-point-ish or 2-point-ish, I guess, lighting system, but I didn't feel like finding a USB cable for a light over there, and frankly, I think this is more than enough light. And I'm not going to be the focus all the time, anyways. So I haven't done a stream science thing in a while, but actually, that's a lie. I worked on a case, and I'm going to continue to work on that case for science. But BlackMagic Design had a stream today where they showcase a lot of new stuff. So I think we are going to go over that. Also, what's up, poker? So I'm also trying it this new thing. So we'll see how this goes. Hey, gonna take off the studio mode here. So we're gonna start off first with this new exciting thing that Blackmagic designed, which is the fact that you can tether over your cell phone. It's neat. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say about that update. It's kind of huge, but not huge all in the same thing. Basically, I actually have, I'm going to switch to camcorder view for a second here again. I have an Atem mini, right? Um, the part that sucks about it, where's the camera? There's the camera, is you have a USB, you have an Ethernet, and the USB can only do one thing at a time, right? So it can either be hooked up to a hard drive, in this case, because this is the Pro model, to record, or it can be hooked up as a webcam to a computer. And now there's a new functionality where it can tether to a cell phone. So in theory, not in theory, in actuality, you can hook up your cell phone via USB to the A10 Mini. And now if you're doing a stream from like a venue or something, you're good to go. This is actually pretty neato because there are a lot of cell phone plans that have a good amount of data. And if you kind of keep things going on the lower bitrate side and lower frame rate side, you'll be good to go. Like, unless you're doing sports or video games, you don't need 60 frames a second. You can do 30. Um, Also, just realizing something here. Hold on. Nope. Where's my de-esser? Auto mode? There we go. Okay. This is probably a little bit better. Anyways, so that was a cool, that's gonna actually be really new. When I do eventually do more shows with this thing right here, um, having cell phone data will be pretty neat. Although it's kind of, you could already technically do this because if you hook up the A10 Mini with Ethernet to your laptop that's already tethered into cell phone internet, it's the same shit. So it's nice to have extra options. It's more important later down the line. We can get rid of this tab right here. This is the big thing. Like, look at this big chungus here for a second. Look at that. And then look at this. Look at this. That is so much bigger. 995 American. So that ends up being about 400 Canadian. It's more than this one. We can check it out in a second. But this is like one of the big things that they announced today, and it's like the big boy version of the Atem. I'm actually kind of annoyed that this got announced, this big boy. See, that's the regular version here. That's actually the model under what I have. So you can see that there's the Atem Mini, the Atem Mini Pro, and now you have a big boy one. So it's about, from the measurements that people figured out, it's about 50% larger. It's super nice that this now has, yeah, see, let's scroll down. I know it's going to show. The ISO models are kind of useless, and I'll go over that in a second. Um, yeah, see, so the regular model, like the one that I have, power, Ethernet, USB, HDMI output, 1, 2, 3, 4 inputs, mic in, mic in. Um, so some of the caveats with this is A, like I said, the USB can only be used for one thing at a time. Either it works as a webcam in a computer, or either you can hook up a hard drive to it and record to it if you have the model that supports that. And now you can cell phone tether, but you can only do one of those three things at a time. And then your Ethernet would be to stream out towards like an RTMP server or something like that. And the HDMI output here, it can either be a multi-viewer or it can show one of the inputs, which is kind of annoying because you want generally to have both. And then Blackmagic was like, okay, we get what you guys were saying. And if I scroll down here, will they show it? No, they won't. Why would they show it? Hold up. Hells yeah. My favorite website, AV Shop. Let's look at the new Atem Mini Extreme. So now we look at the back here. We have not one but two HDMI outputs. And we have not one but two USBs. And we also have a headphone jack, which is super annoying because if we go back to the device here, you will see that there is actually full-on audio processing in here. So if you had cameras that have external microphones hooked up to them, or even internal microphones, like my camcorder right now has audio over HDMI, and if I wanted to use it, I could. I could process it all through here, or if I had, I could even use my mixer and hook it straight into the Atem Mini through the aux cable input, and I could do a bunch of effects missing here, like compression, gating, and equalization, all that crap. It's so much nice. Like, look at this. This is beautiful right here. You have so many options, but you cannot hear any of it. There is. I'm gonna actually switch to camcorder here again. Look at this. There is no headphone output on here. They honestly expect you to use the headphone output from the HDMI. So you would need a monitor that has a headphone jack on it to be able to actually listen to your things. Why? Why would you do this? So, they fixed it with this new one. Basically, it's all fixes. It's very annoying, but it's also very awesome because the cost of one of these is the price of a Pro and a regular. And the regular can only work as a webcam or an HDMI output, and the Pro can do the actual streaming by itself and everything like that. So I really wish I could have gotten this one, but the one that I have will still work. This one is definitely a lot nicer though, because you could probably actually run a full event off of this one here, like a speedrun event, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inputs, and you can have them overlaid because now you have extra layers to work with on here. So you could actually do one input as a Node CG, one input as a webcam, and then another input as your like computer, video game, or something like that. So you could literally do it all on this box here. And then you have your audio processing through all the inputs, a headphone output, record to USB, all that jazzy stuff right there. So this all of a sudden turned into a massive stream powerhouse, which is really neat. But this is daunting. Like, look at all these buttons. When you look at Let's do a quick thing here. It's really annoying that going to a different website actually gets you better images than actual Blackmagic's website. Okay, look at this. This has, a couple buttons. You can sometimes maybe hit a button you don't want, but, overall, you got your big buttons right here and here. And, we got some smaller buttons here. And now you have all these buttons. This looks terrifying. If somebody looks at this for the first time, they're not going to know what the hell they're doing. Like, yes, it is repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated. But now all of a sudden you got these extra macro buttons here. And this is just daunting. I'm not a fan of this. This looks disgusting. This is simple. This is gross. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah, this... Hold on. Will my thing actually work if I try this? Let's see. Does my new thing work? Oh. That thing. Hey, hold on. This thing right here. That is super important. I wish I had that. I did look it up on Amazon. You can get a box for like 30 Canadian dollars that does HDMI with a headphone output with like a volume knob. So I might have to get one of those. But that's super important. And honestly, no, that thing right there, the double HDMI, that one's pretty useful too. Although you can technically get away with it because if we go back to here, will it show it? It does. This is what your multi-viewer looks like. So if you hook up to the HDMI on an Atem Mini Pro, this is what you see. So while it would be super nice to be able to just like have your program as a separate HDMI output to maybe go to like a projector or something on site, whatever. You can figure out ways around that. I don't know. It is nice that it's built into this one, but and yeah, the whole extra USB thing, so you can actually record and also have it hooked up to a computer. So if you're doing like an event on site and then you're also live streaming it to somewhere, now you can actually do that while also recording to the hard drive. So you could technically record it to the hard drive on the laptop, but this gives options. I like this. Or, the cell phone tethering, that it's more flexible. But this is the big thing. This is annoying that I don't have this. But otherwise, I can live without it. So yeah, because a lot of people were getting one of these with one of... Where is it? Where is it? No, that's the ISO. Why would you do this to me? Yeah, this one right here. So for the same price as this one plus the other one, you can get an extreme. And I think that's what Blackmagic is basically trying to get after. This does not stream. It only lets you control it over over a laptop with the software. It doesn't let you stream. On mine, you can actually stream through it. I've done a stream with it actually before. I need to do more because having big buttons is always nicer. But anyways, that 8 HDMI input, 4 chroma. That's pretty nice. One of the big things that people were saying is the fact that oh, I just realized kind of cutting off the text here a little bit. Hello? Yes, maybe. There we go. 4 chroma keys, which is nice. 6 DVs, 2 USB ports, 16-way multi-view, 2 HDMI aux outputs, plus built-in streaming engine and recording for $9.95 American. Honestly, if you're going to build a computer or get one of these, you're probably going to get one of these. This is a lot more portable, a lot less hassle, not dealing with software. It's all in like you deal with software, but the streaming and everything else is in hardware. All that built in, everything like that. It's very convenient. I might want to grab one of these at one point because my plan was to have this be the NASA Marathon Mafia machine because you could get like a couple cameras, like GoPros or something. One, two, three, four. Somebody's just paying attention. Have a cheap mixer, a microphone or two, omnidirectional, and then you can have a fun Mafia stream with one of these, or just anything smaller. You'd be able to do off of this and especially because you can hook it up to a laptop. You'd be able to just stream directly, easy peasy. Let's go, right? But now, when you have this big boy here that you can literally run a whole event off of, this is really entertaining as an option. You don't have to chain two devices together because I don't know why people would buy the cheaper one to then chain into one of the inputs into here, so that way you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You'd have 7 HDMI inputs, and you'd have to use 2 different boxes to flip between them. It's really cumbersome. This is better. I'm a fan. I just really wish that I kind of waited, but this should have been here from the start. I will not forgive them for not having that from the start, but I'll be happy with mine. That's my thoughts. On to the next part. Um, the web presenter. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Before we get to that, mention that the ISO models are stupid, and they are. So if we take a look, the Atem Mini is $295, Atem Mini Pro is $595, Atem Mini Pro ISO is $895. You are paying $300 extra compared to this because it records every single HDMI input as a file, and then the output also as a file. So it does 5 recordings at once. But why would you care about that if you've already switched live? Oh, maybe I want to like fix it in post, okay? But if you're fixing it in post, you might as well just do a whole brand new edit. The only reason you would pay $300 extra for this to instead of just pop all the files into Premiere, Resolve, and then multicam it manually again, because that's what you're gonna have to do. Because you're gonna have to scrub through the video to find where the edit was to then move it around and fix the whatever. Might as well just do it from scratch if you're gonna try to fix up the product. The only reason you want this is if you have 4K or higher resolution cameras and you recorded it in the camera, and then you just want to take the file that this creates and then replace it with the ones from the camera. But unless you own like a handful of 4K, 6K cameras, this is useless. I thought it was super cool, and then I realized this is useless. Absolutely useless. There's barely any time you'll actually go back into a file and be like, yeah, I want to fix that like one mistake that I made where I accidentally was on the a different camera for like 2 seconds. No. So then here you pay, what is this? Yeah, 300 extra again for the ISO. You dumb. Absolutely dumb. $400 extra to go from the Pro to the Extreme. Absolutely worth it because $300 gets you this one, an extra $100. Instead of getting this with that, you just get this one big one. This is absolutely worth it. This totally cannibalizes a lot of other Blackmagic Design products, like their TV studio. Absolutely useless. Let's find that here. This thing, top seller. This is dead. Look at this. $1,400, okay? This looks neat. It has like buttons to switch. It has a little camera, has a headphone and a microphone, you know, some HDMI, some SDI, some XLR, a multi-view, USB 2.0. This looks super awesome. Why is this dead? Because Blackmagic doesn't actually have any scalers built into the device, so all your signals have to be like 720p 60 or 1080p 24, whatever the hell they are. They all have to be the same. As soon as one is different, it doesn't work. So when you have a mismatch of different things, like if your camera's 1080p, but somebody brought in a laptop and it can only do like 720p, you're screwed. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. So this is dead. Why would you pay this when you can get this? Because this scales. This will handle your like 720p, 1080p, whatever frame rate resolution. Yes, that is the thing. So Blackmagic's cheap because they don't put in any scalers into their switchers. At work, when I use like big switchers, they all have scalers built into them. So you can put in any input and it will change it to the output of your choosing. Blackmagic doesn't do that. That's how they save money. So that's why you always get people like, oh, I just got like a Blackmagic switcher, but like my one camera doesn't work for it. What am I supposed to do? People are like, oh, just get like this SDI to HDMI scaler or whatever. And they'll fix it right up. And you're spending more money just to get around the fact that there's no scalers. So, but this is cool. This has scalers. Everything in the Atem Mini line has scalers. So that's pretty neato. So yeah, I'm still super happy with my Mini Pro. But if I were to buy a new one now, and I had the money, I would totally go for the Atem Mini Extreme. Like, why would you not? It fixes everything. It has more inputs, more capabilities. Getting another one of these at this point, I think, is dumb. Either get the Atem Mini Pro or just get the Atem Mini Extreme. Chaining two of these together is just why. I mean, you could, but why? I don't see a point in it. Maybe if this thing like drops in price, it would be more worth it. But you know, better off hawking. If you already have this one and you need this one, just sell this one and get that one. There's no point. Web Presenter HD. This is So I was actually looking into this thing. It turns out Blackmagic made this, and then like right before COVID hit, they were like, ah, no, this is like a dumb product. We're not going to sell these. And then COVID hit, and then everybody needed these. So that's why it's also a top seller. I'm pretty sure on AV Shop, or at least was. But oh yeah, somewhere here. But anyways, they made a new one. This is pretty cool. Basically just takes an HDMI or an SDI in, and then it has an HDMI out, Ethernet out, webcam out. It's just like a stream box, whatever. Um, Supports a bunch of stuff. The only reason this thing is cool, I don't predict a lot of people will actually buy this unless they already have like a whole rack mount video switcher set up from whatever, and they just want to stream. This is it right here. Can I view this image? I can. I kind of just wish they would put this on the Atem minis. Like this cool view, your data rate, your cache, your audio levels, your picture, um, your live stream info right here. It shows your audio coming in. This tells you like everything about your video input coming in, like if it's 10-bit or 8-bit or whatever. And it's a super fancy technical view that I wish was an option on the Atem Mini. But it probably won't be. It'll probably be tied to this box that I don't predict a lot of people using because most people don't need a streaming thing for a switcher when they can get a switcher with a streamer. So 500 bucks. Oh my god. Or I can just get a box with OBS. Like Dell Optiplexes are cheap. GPUs be cheap. Easy peasy. Next thing. This thing. This thing's infuriating. Oh my god. I don't even know where to begin with this thing. So Blackmagic has actually, let's go to their products for a second. Cameras. They have cameras, okay? They have a bunch of cameras. They have their Ursa broadcast cameras. They have, that. But the main cameras that they have is their Pocket 4K and their Pocket 6K. And a lot of people just grab the 4K because it's cheaper than the 6K and you can get a speed booster for the 4K. It's very popular. One bonus is if you have the Pocket Cinema, it actually works directly with the Atem and you can control it with your Atem Mini, which is really freaking awesome. If you have these on a live stream, you can like tell it to focus or change the colors or record or zoom out. You can do it all with the Atem Mini while you're controlling it. Really neat stuff. But it's 1,295, right? American. Why would you do that to me? I don't want that. Oh yeah, I know. Everything's super cool. The problem with the pocket cameras is that they have a built-in screen on the back that doesn't tilt. So they decided, hey, we're gonna make a new one that tilts. That's cool. Improved 6K sensor. Okay, because a lot of people they put the camera in a cage, and then they add a screen, and that's extra costs and everything like that. So I get it. I get it. Now you have a tilty screen, which is great because the problem with the pocket cameras is that they're like a DSLR. This is how you film all the time. That It's really annoying. So that's why people put them in cages so you can actually rig them up and hold them by a handle or whatever, right? But if the screen's stuck, you have to keep it in front of you. Like, oh, if now that you have a flippy screen, you can either look up or look down. You can have it at different angles. So that's an improvement. That's nice. That's nice. But this viewfinder, what the fuck are you gonna do with this viewfinder? This dude's not even using the viewfinder. Why would you ever use the viewfinder? Your face has to be right in there. You're not gonna be using the camera like that. Like, what? We go back to this cinema camera, okay? It has a nice big eyepiece, okay? Look at that. Nice. It's to the side. So that way, when you use it, you can actually, look at this guy. He's on a low angle, but it's to the side. It's not directly in. It's a nice big viewfinder. It's like the size of a hand. The viewfinder on this one is tiny. It's just like a viewfinder on my camera. What are you going to do with that? And that viewfinder costs like $500. Why? It's so dumb. What? What is the point of this right here? It's just so dumb. I don't get it. Why would anybody pay for and look, yeah. Well, now you have a microphone there. You're not going to use a viewfinder. I don't know. It's really dumb. Like, yes, the battery grip is really cool. The improved sensor, really cool. Viewfinder, really stupid. But nobody wanted this. Everybody wanted a refresh of, not that one, this one, the Micro Studio camera. Because what's happening is Blackmagic has this camera, but kind of sucks because it's old, like 4 or 5 years old. Then you have Zcam, which is a whole company that's been making box cameras of different sensor sizes and resolutions. And everyone's been actually grabbing the, where's their cheap one? E2C, right here. 4K cinematic. Oh my God, but it's a box camera. This thing has built-in NDI and everything. You could just buy this camera, smack a lens on it, NDI to your computer, and boom, $800. Oh my God, super amazing. This thing right here, which is old, smaller sensor, everything else. How much does it cost? $1,295. $800. 1,295. People are going to this, but this is just like a brand new company. It doesn't have all that support. Like there's constantly firmware upgrades and everything. So, if you're one of those people who can kind of deal with stuff as it happens, this is maybe a good idea for you. Panasonic. Recently, like as of last month, maybe the month before, came out with this big boy right here. This is basically a GH5S in a box form. Has like all this mounting stuff, it has HDMI, SDI, like this is the big boy thing that you want. 1,099. Has like better autofocus and everything, so 1,295 for an old out of date box camera, or $2,000, so an extra 600 bucks for a brand spanking new box camera with a lot more features and a better sensor. Yeah, people are going to go for this one. So everyone was like, well, maybe Blackmagic's going to take their 4K camera and put it in a box so you can use it with the Atem. No. Like, why? This costs the same amount of money as this one. They're both 4K, except this one actually has more features and is newer, has better image quality and everything else. And they're still trying to sell you this one for that. It's mind-boggling. This is really dumb. If they made this, they put this inside this for like $1,000, everybody streaming would want it. Absolutely. Why would you not? You can control it with your Atem. You're good to go. That's about it. Whoa, I made this big. There we go. But yeah, that's about it for my thoughts. I mean, I can quickly go over stuff, but did I miss anything? I don't think I did. But yeah. Why isn't the... no, I don't want to do that. You have a question. What is your question? I love answering questions. Um, so I had an SDI capture card actually. And I gave it away because it was causing issues on my computer, and I gave it to someone who would have a lot better use for it. The thing with SDI is that it's very annoying. Let's move to the... Let's do this. Let's remove my chroma key here. So, here's my pen. Like, the problem is, if you're building everything, like here's your tech area, right? Here's like your camera. Do you really need SDI when your computer's right here? No, you can do HDMI, right? If your whole tech area is here, where all your like consoles and gameplay and stuff is here, whoa, do you really need SDI to go from here to here? No. This whole thing, like, let me, whoop, whoop. Like the last NASA that we had, it was a ballroom that was actually made up of two different rooms. And here was our tech table right here. And here was the table with all the TVs and stuff. Here was some chairs, you know. Bop, 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 bop. Here was like a table, and here was a couch. And there was more chairs back here. This should actually be extended more. 'Cause there were more chairs back here, and there was like stuff there and there and there. But realistically, in the distances that you have to work with here, with the main computer being right here, this circle right here, you don't need SDI for anything within this vicinity here. Like, just why won't you drop in the corner? You don't need anything SDI within this vicinity. Now, however, if I was doing a setup like at work, where we have the ballroom, okay, well, let's do the same ballroom. I have a stage here, and tech always goes into the corner because you can't bother anybody, but you're not going to have a camera right here, right? Aiming that way, you're going to have a camera right here because it's going to aim towards the stage and everything else. This is now a fairly long distance. You can use an HDMI cable, but that's going to be the size of a garden hose, and it's going to cap out at 50 feet. So like what, 25 meters, thereabouts? That's the limit of one HDMI cable, around 50 feet. And it has to be the thickness of a garden hose, like quite literally. They do not make thin ones. It just would not travel very far. Go away, Cortana. Why would you show up? So in that case, you do want to use SDI. But the problem is, unless all of your equipment can handle, I just realized I also cut off where tech is. So tech is where my head is. Okay. Actually, can I go here? Can I, oh, there we go. So unless your equipment can handle SDI, then there's kind of no point to it. The big plus of SDI is one, the locking connector, and two, the distance it can go. Because you can go hundreds of feet on a single cable of SDI, which is why it's used in professional productions. But when everything's super close, you don't have to, unless your equipment does SDI natively, there's no reason to do it. So, I mean, if we take a quick note here, computers, they output HDMI. Video game consoles, the newer ones output HDMI. Cameras, for the most part, the camcorders and everything else that people use HDMI. You have to go out of your way to get a camera that has SDI. Older video game consoles, well, that's going to be older analog signals that you might convert into HDMI, but that's also not SDI. The only thing that SDI natively, the only devices that would natively have SDI are a camera. And you don't want to spend money and effort flipping the outputs from HDMI to SDI unless you're running a long distance. So there's just no point to it. It doesn't matter how big or small an event size is. There's just no need for it. If you wanted to use an SDI product, or better yet, if you wanted to have an HDMI product, but from a longer distance, let's say you have a computer. Let's do something here. Let's say you have your venue. Oh, this is a really crappy venue. And then, let's say you wanted, let's do the NASA setup here. Here's tech and here's your camera. So you don't need anything. But let's say you wanted a camera out here in the hallway. Oh. Or maybe you wanted a camera in this corner because this is where your hosts are, let's say, right? But you don't have an SDI camera because that's expensive. So you just have a regular camcorder. You can still go HDMI to SDI back to HDMI. They have devices for that. BlackMagic actually has devices for that. Bop, bop. I actually want to buy one of these to test them out. Signal conversion? No. Multi-view broadcast converters. Aha, here we go. Micro HDMI to SDI. You want these puppies. So these have converters where, as you can see, it takes an SDI in. It also does an SDI out, so it can act as like an SDI splitter, and then it converts it to HDMI. It's just the USB power. And they have the opposite as well. So, or is it going to show the HDMI one? Ba-bum. I guess they're not going to show the HDMI one. Oh, wait, down here. Just tech specs. Okay, so this one's just HDMI in and then 2 SDIs out, which is fine. And then you have a bidirectional one. So you can get one of these. I have heard kind of weird things with Blackmagic, but these ones are brand new. And it's also really cool because they have built-in LUTs. So you can actually hook it up to a computer and you can actually change the coloring of your camera to then match other cameras. So you don't necessarily need an SDI camera to use SDI. But before these ones came out and they were announced and they're like super cheap, the other one, and these ones I actually have at work. We just bought a pile of them. Mini converters? Yes. These ones are the ones nobody will ever complain about a decimator. And these ones are actually super neat because they take in HDMI. They're bidirectional. And you can use it. They are more expensive. But you can take an HDMI in. Oh, can this just show what I'm talking about? No. But anyways, it can take an HDMI in, and then you can feed it out as HDMI output. And then you can also do an SDI output. So you can use it as an HDMI splitter and then an SDI converter. And you can do it also the same in the other direction. Or you can manually hook it up to a computer and tell it, I want to do different things. Like, see, you can do HDMI in to SDI out, SDI in to HDMI out. So you could have one box doing like an HDMI camera in to an SDI output. And then you could have this box also take in an SDI input to an HDMI output. So if we go back to, uh, holy crap, you can't zoom in anymore. Okay. Oh, there we go. Hey, look at that. Well, like if you had the camera here, and that was HDMI, and you converted it to SDI, okay, okay. So you only need 2 of these boxes. One box would be here, and one box is here. A camcorder, HDMI to here, gets turned into SDI, boop, boop, goes to here. And now your box here takes the SDMI and turns into HDMI for your capture card. But you also want to give these people a video feed of the stream. So, you know, HDMI to SDI here, and now you take the SDI to HDMI and it's only on 2 boxes. So you could do that with just 2 of these decimator boxes. And that's why I kind of really want them, because that's just super useful if you have a camcorder or any feeds that have to go a long distance. You don't have to get super long HDMI cables. You can get BNC SDI cables, which are a lot lighter, a lot more flexible, and just better all around. And it's USB, so you just need a phone charger and you're good to go. So also, what's up, Anasper? So yeah, I can't say what cameras ESA uses. I know for a while they were using JVC camcorders or Sony cam. They were using some sort of camcorders. They might have upgraded by now. Zero idea. But yeah, unless you have a reason to go a long length, There's just no point in SDI personally. Like if all your tech's around this table, is it showing my mouse? Oh no, the mouse is gone. Oh, there it is. Um, if all of your stuff is conglomerated into one area, you don't need SDI unless something specifically has SDI output and you have a way to do SDI input. There's just no reason to. If you have to go a distance, that's when SDI becomes super useful. Because the thing is, the reason SDI can go super long lengths is because it's a super standardized signal. You're not going to pump an OSSC out through SDI or anything like that. It'll just be like, nope, I don't care. It doesn't conform to my standards. I don't want you here. That's why it's mainly used for like cameras and the output of video switchers and stuff like that. So if I was doing actually a Mafia thing in this hallway here, and I was using the Atem Mini for Mafia here, but I wanted the feed to go to the computer here so I can control it and maybe flip back and forth between the two, I could use a decimator or a BlackMagic converter to then take the HDMI output, then go to SDI, and then it would just go right through here, one little simple cable, and you're good to go. Because don't have an SDI cable on me, do I? I do. I just don't want to get up out of my chair and unplug it from the equipment. But it's just a regular antenna cable, like a coax for cable or TV antenna. It's just that one RF cable. Um, it needs to be a specific grade of it. You can't just go to the dollar store and buy a coax cable and magically have SDI. It has to be RG6 or RG59, and it needs to have the correct connector on it, that locking connector that you can see right here. But if you have an Extron crosspoint, you already know what BNC connectors are and everything like this. In um, professional stuff, this is a super standard connector. But yeah, as you can see, this cable is like the same thickness as this regular HDMI cable. But this cable can go 300 feet, and this can only go like maybe 12 at most. So that is when I would use SDI at an event. I would not. I would not bother otherwise, unless basically anything long distance. Start maybe thinking about SDI. Otherwise, who cares? You're fine. Um, yeah, I'm still sad that there's no refresh to this. At some point, I'm gonna have to get a new camera for events, and I wanted it to be a camcorder. There are like no new reasonable camcorders. I'll probably end up just getting one of these, which kind of sucks because this is a lot of money. But if I do get one, at least I can control it with an Atem Mini, so that's neat, you know? But then I gotta get a speed booster or a Micro Four Thirds lens, and it is just, I don't want to deal with that. If it was a box for a lot cheaper and it just had like an Ethernet output or something, that would have been sick. But no. Does anybody have any other questions? Because I like answering questions. And Asper probably has some questions because he wasn't here. He's late to the class. You bought 2 ISOs and 2 minis for your 2 Statellite studios. Oh no. I'm so sorry that you spent money on products that existed and now there's a better one. Welcome to life. I'm probably just gonna get one of these to fix my headphone woes. $30. HDMI in, HDMI out, and a headphone output. That'll fix all my problems. Should you get one of these for your headset? I mean, unless you have HDMI that you want to deal with, maybe. Like if you didn't have a sound card in your computer, maybe this would be a good idea. Or if the reason I want this is because of the Atem. Um, the new Atem. So basically, uh, an Asper, the new Atem Mini, the stream thing that I bought a while ago for events, that is still super awesome. It's just slightly less awesome now. It doesn't have an headphone out, but the new one that just got announced today does have a headphone output. It also has 4 more HDMI inputs and an extra HDMI output and an extra USB output. So I frankly don't care about the extra 4 inputs, um, but I'd actually really care about this headphone jack. I'm super salty about it actually, because products, come on. The Why do you have a switcher? Almost there. Why do you have a switcher that has a built-in digital mixer and not have a way to actually hear the sound? It's so stupid. It is so stupid. Like this, that is parametric equalization right there. That's not even graphic, that's parametric. You can control how big these dips are, where they are. That's compression right there. You can control the shelf and everything. Like, if I go to a video that I did, ooh, where is that video? And I go over my whole setup, okay, of how I do a microphone. This is an unlisted video, but if you're in the NASA or R3 discords, you can see what the hell I'm doing. So look at this. I have, I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to do sound reduction, but I have compression going on my microphone right now. I then have a limiter, so that's just another form of compression. I have this de-esser, which I think it might have one built in, but if it doesn't, that's still fine. I could just do more compression of different style. Equalization going on my microphone right now. I was just too lazy to pull this up in OBS as a new window capture. I got gating going on. Almost all the filtering that I do on my microphone right now, I would be able to do in the little switcher, but I can't actually hear it. That is so frustrating. So I'm glad that they decided that their brand new product needs this. But I don't know what else I can say on the BlackMagic stuff, but, feel free to pick my brain about anything else. How much does AV Shop have? The little switchers, actually. Shop by brand. 1,829 or 1,829. Which one would I buy? Not that one. This one. This one doesn't even have a full fork, like a big sensor. A tiny ass sensor, if I remember correctly. Because it can take B4 lenses, so it's super tiny. This one at least has a proper micro four thirds lens, which means it can actually do low light correctly. And this one would suck. This one's designed for like, oh, I have light, studio lights and everything, and this one, you don't need that. So why would you get this when you can get that? Absolutely stupid. No. Oh, they do have a decimator. 139 Canadian. That's not bad. Or I could get this one for $400. I've used this one before. It's kind of interesting. You have an HDMI in, or an SDI in, I believe, and then it can spit out like 4 different SDI outputs. So it's really weird. It's really cool. But it also scales. So if like this is 720p and you need a 1080p SDI, it can scale that out too. This is super nifty. It's very expensive, but really cool. So yeah, honestly, I'd probably just grab one of these or this one. 55 plus 55 is 110 or 140 for one of these. Well, I would need 2 boxes anyways to flip between the two, so I might just get 2 of these, an HDMI to SDI and an SDI to HDMI. Where is the other one? Where's the cheap one? Oh, this is the most popular, that's why. Are you planning on recording using 4K? No. Do I have... Nope, just... No, I don't plan to. HDMI to SDI, HDMI to... Oh, wait. I probably want one of these. Why is this one different? SDI to HDMI, here we go. Why is this more expensive? That's dumb. Might end up being the same cost. So, um, this is the thing with NASA events. I have a lot of crap open right now. If you go to the NASA YouTube, oh, there it is. NASA 2018, okay? You'll notice that 1440p 60 is an option. But the event was not streamed in 1440p. Why was that? It's because it was streamed in 720p. And I recorded in 1440p because YouTube doesn't absolutely destroy the quality of 1440p. And it means that, in this case, probably find a better example. Playlist. Nope, this was an online event. This was an on-site event. So the way that I've built my layouts, oh yeah, this was a Neato Cam option. The way that I've designed the layouts for NASA is that this feed right here is almost 1080p. And when you have the 1440p VOD, if anybody wants to only have their game feed for a person, like let's say Quo really wanted his Mario Kart footage, but he didn't want it in the NASA layout for some reason or another. If he grabbed the 1440p VOD, which I also have it multi-tracked recording, so there's a track that has the full mix, there's a track that has only the commentary, and there's a track that only has the game audio. He could do a game-only SDA old school style video out of this. I have debated doing this in 2160p. The problem is the file sizes. I probably have all the VODs on my computer here. NASA VODs, NASA 2019. So the NASA 2019 folder with all the VODs is, I can't see that, 650. I'm going to copy this because it's very small enough. 658 gigs is how much all the VODs of NASA 2019 are in 1440p. NASA 2018 is 1 terabyte. Holy crap, 1 terabyte. Jeez, I gotta do something about these VODs. I didn't realize this was taking up a quarter of my hard drive space here. Holy crap. That's a revelation. But anyways, those file sizes, as you can see, are absolutely huge. So I could do, I'm not going to have this playing anymore. I could do 2160p recordings, and that would be super nice. But the problem is, most video game systems won't be higher than 1080p. A computer might do above 1080p, but even then, a lot of games are iffy. Speedrunners care about the frames, not the graphical quality most of the time. Retro games will scale because, that's 240p anyways, so where's a retro capture? I know there's a retro capture here somewhere. Mario Party 50 turn, okay. So this is just skip to summer game. Okay. So this is an N64 that was outputting 240p over HDMI. So, this is already scaled to fit in 1440p. I could scale it to fit in the 2160p version, no problem. But at that point, everything that's going to be in the layout has to be scaled. Okay. Now I could record in 2160p, but those file sizes are going to be massive. I'm going to have to start buying a brand new hard drive for every single event. Or I have to start recording in HEVC, which is something I have looked into doing. It would be super, it would have to be done on the graphics card. So I would basically end up in a situation where the graphics card is recording in HEVC codec, and then the stream would be X264 codec, which is what streams always are. And then the decision of, do I stream in 720p or do I stream in 1080p? Which I would probably pick 720p because just bitrate wise, you end up better. I think unofficially Twitch allows, what are Twitch's rules? $6,000. Okay, so officially they say 6,000. I think unofficially you can do 8, maybe even 10,000. But in either case, let's do some quick calculatory stuff here. I just don't want to window capture a calculator. I'm sorry. So guesstimate of bitrate is resolution, so 1280 times 720 times your frame rate times your bits per pixel, which is going to be 0.1 because we want to maximize the quality, equals that. And then we divide by 1,000 to turn that into kilobits instead of bits. And we have 5,529.6. That is supposedly the diminishing returns of a 720p stream, 720p 60 stream. Now let's do the math for 1080p. 1920 times 1080 times 60 times 1 divided by 1,000. And I know I could probably simplify this math right here. Don't judge me. 12,441.6. So the diminishing returns for a 1080p stream, 1080p 60 stream, is 12,441. But for 720p, it's 5,529. One of these is a lot more realistic than the other. File sizes, it only makes sense if at least a couple people wanted just their feeds in extremely good quality, which isn't going to happen, or people start complaining that their favorite streamers do 4K 60 already, which isn't happening either. Exactly. So I think 1440p is like the sweet spot personally for recordings and just stream in 720. I know events stream in 1080p, and for online, I also stream in 1080p because I value the resolution, and I highly doubt that people are streaming in a like super amazing bitrate anyways. And it just makes sense to have the higher resolution. Everybody's capped to like a 6K bitrate, so it doesn't matter. But let's take a look at, oh, what VOD is it? What am I looking for? Is it in day 3? Where is... Oh, it'll be easier if I just do this. NASA Marathon Diablo. Aha. Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls. And so one of the things about this speedrun is that you fly around everywhere with a crap ton of particle effects. But now this is really stupid because I'm streaming in... Actually, no. Might be fine. Do some quick math here. Yeah, I'm actually streaming at 6K, and 6,220 is the apparent drop-off point or diminishing returns for a 1080p 30 stream. So you might actually be able to see this. The recording is in 1440p 60. So this isn't a macro block fest when you're watching this on YouTube. When you're watching on stream, it was probably maybe a little bit blocked up because of the lower resolution and everything else. But this is a good viewing experience. This isn't a block fest that's happening here right now. And if this was 1080p stream, it probably would be pixelated as heck. Because there's just a lot going on. Oh, I, of course, skipped past the part that would have been reasonable. This is Canadian internet for you. Oh, this might be good. Hello? Yeah, see, this is not a... I don't know how it is for you guys. Let me check my stream. No, it's pretty fine. It doesn't look blocky at all. But yeah, this doesn't pixelate. This doesn't do anything. This looks perfectly fine. And if you were streaming at 1080p 60 at like even 8, there's a very good chance that as soon as stuff happened on screen, it would probably pixelate because there's just too much going on. There's not enough bitrate to handle it. So I like to err on the side of caution, and this workflow just works. So that is the very roundabout way of answering your question to no, I don't see a point in having a 2160p workflow. It doesn't make sense on the VOD side because nothing actually is that resolution, and it doesn't make sense for the stream side. So, yeah. All right. I think we're going to call it a day then. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. I am probably going to have to edit the VOD because I'm realizing that I probably accidentally doxed myself, even though I didn't really mean to. So I'm going to delete the VOD on Twitch. So yeah, that's fun. I'll talk to you guys later. If you have any questions, just hit me up on Discord or Twitter and I will get around to them. See ya.